Good evening, humans. My name is Gordon. I'm 42-year-old. I'm a Pisces. I was born in 76. And these are my trials, stunts, and near-death experiences.
So what were you doing this time, 1996?
96. I was 20. I was staying with my mate, my very first house in 71B, a very famous house in my circle. At this point in time, it was November, I was probably on a hallucinogenic binge with magic mushrooms because I probably still had some left for the autumn before.
Did you go out collecting mushrooms every year then?
Every year, September, October, and collected up like bin bags worth, hundreds and hundreds of thousands. Just kept them, bottled them, made soup, bottled them, kept hundreds in drawers. Just most of my kitchen was just a stash spot for magic mushrooms. Lots of them, and hundreds, thousands of them.
Did you sell them or did
No. Well, we did. We'd brew them up in wee Discola bottles, and me and my mates walked about, and we called it pixie juice, and we sold the bottles out for £5. I had my own bottles because my bottles were a lot more potent than the ones they gave out in the street. But I used to get chased. Not chased, but mate, you need a pixie juice when you're walking down the street. And it's not even like it's not even nice. It's not even like water. It's not even as fresh as water. You just take it because it's got to give you the biggest hallucinogenic done of probably your night or your life. And it was scanting. You probably had to hold your nose to drink it, and then drink it really fast, and then drink something really sweet and fizzy after it, just to get that ganting taste at your mouth.
Why didn't you just flavour it with something?
Well, my pal, who was older than us, who we used to get weed off of, we went to her bit, and she was up for taking mushrooms. She liked taking stuff like that, was, but she was older than us. But I never bought because we knew each other, and Kittenhall was a very small village. She made magic mushrooms. She put magic mushrooms in chicken soup, Heinz chicken soup, and brought it through to me. There you go, son, there's some soup for you. About 5 minutes later, I could start to feel the legs go all weird and tingly, then the gut go heavy, and it was then I was like, you put mushrooms in there? It's like, aye. And it looked like chicken soup. It was chicken soup. I was totally filled. I didn't even fucking know any different. But she told us how to make it. I was like, cool. Next time I've got to take mushrooms, I've got to chicken soup. And when I done it, it looked like muck. It looked as if I just poured a basin full of muck. Anyway, still ate it and drank it, but it did look like.
Did it taste like?
No, it was just nah.
So moral of the story
very
is
earthy. You could smell the peat, the various, forms of feces that's been these mushrooms have been grown in, because you don't get mushrooms in any other field except cow fields, sheep fields, fields with shit.
Did you wash them?
No. Sometimes you just walked about the fields and just picked and ate them. Well, I did. You get maggots and stuff at. See, you put a few in your hand and then you see maggots crawling in it and you go, oh sweet, gob.
Seriously,
man, what's a maggot got to do?
You didn't even take the maggot off.
Why? What's it got to do?
I don't know. I suppose I wouldn't really want to eat a maggot.
Well, it was small, it was wriggly. It's got to make something. It's got to make something insignificant compared to the dunt I'm going to take. That maggot has no idea fuck all. You know what I mean?
So what was it like then, taking mushrooms? How did it feel?
Amazing. I never liked reality. Hated reality. When every time I took a hallucinogenic drug, I thought, this is the world for me. I don't like it. Never have. But magic mushrooms and hallucinogenic drugs, and the way the scope you can see, the things you don't see, the things you just find that just so insignificant, and the small things just become huge.
What do you mean by that? The small things, just like literally.
Not literally, but you can see the scale on just a small thing like a handshake, a gesture. You can just tell. It's some you notice. Well, some I noticed more when after taking these drugs. That you notice the small things of people, the good gestures, the little small things, how you can tell how a person is and stuff like that. But I don't know. I've always had a kind of affinity with the altered states.
Why do you think that is?
Because I never really liked reality. Never really liked reality. I'll probably extend back to when I was 13 when my mum died, but it could be it.
So when was the first time you took magic mushrooms? Was it that time at your friend's house in the suit?
No. It was probably when I was about 15, 16 year old.
What happened?
Well, my mate owed me a fiver, I think. He owed me a fiver, and he'd get 2 acid tabs off his mate. Strawberry double dips, legendary. Piece of fucking gear. And he offered to give me one, and I was intrigued enough to go, yes, I will fucking take that. Almost instantaneously. When I put it in my mouth, I was like, love it. And I don't know, I just walked about the whole village, just writhing on people's cars and loving it. It was amazing. I've never felt so, I've never felt so happy in my life. You know what I mean? The world is this world is meant for me, or I was meant for this world. But when I stepped out that world, it was like something completely different. Did I like the world I was walking about in? So always, every Friday, or whenever I wanted, or whenever I could, I would always take hallucinogenic drugs, or mushies, or acid.
So it was like when you took a hallucinogen, you saw kind of a new world. It almost like
it made the world I was walking about in palpable. I couldn't feel the world I was walking in, but see when it was at my face, it felt as if everything I was walking about and was meant to be there. This was here. This was for here. But you could see it in a total different light. Your perspective and how your senses are. You just feel as if you're so in tune with everything around you. And when I didn't take that, I just felt as if it was just like a fart in space. Catch me, Gordon, 42, Pisces, in the next episode of Trials, Stunts and Near-Death Experiences, where I might actually maybe talk about my near-death experiences, really good ones, blown to smithereens, gas bottles, run over. I've been run over 3 times, and I still haven't died.